So can you see on Facebook?
Well, let me go to my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I see it, LaTanya.
Okay. So you want to share it to your page? Well, I don't. I'm
Hold
still
on.
trying to see. I don't.
Hold on real quick. Let me see if it won't let me share right now. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go. We can
Can you see on Facebook?
we can do it from there. You have to control the PowerPoint.
Okay, cool. So you can tell me when to go and everything.
You can start now.
You can go ahead and do the intro.
Hey, this is Katie Young, the cash flow king, and we got LaTanya, the queen of credit.
All right. So we just gonna get into the Well Club, the presentation, and teaching on how to increase your credit and cash flow and corporation and what all of that really means. What does corporation mean? Um, how to increase your credit scores and at the same time how to increase your cash flow. So Kevin, just let me know whenever you're ready to elaborate on anything.
Gotcha.
um,
Gotcha.
let's talk about the rat race, right? And do you want to go ahead and break down this picture, or what do you think of as when you see this picture? What comes to mind to you for you?
You know what comes to mind for me is whenever when I was in high school and going to college, I had always been told that in order to really be successful in life or to feel like you are successful, you have to go to school, get good grades. Those good grades, you take those and go to college, and then once you finish college, you can go find a good job. Which that's great advice, but it was for really a certain time period. And what I realized in 2018 and 2019 is that it takes more than just having a job alone. Now, not saying there's anything wrong with a job. You just have to understand that the not only the mindset, but the way this country is set up, you're not going to become wealthy or leave a legacy just with a job alone. Look, that's not me just saying that to be speaking down on anyone or anything. That's just that we live in a capitalist society. And so when I think about capitalism and understand how that works with just have job alone, I know there's so many Americans and so many people out there that are just falling behind. It's not their fault. They were just told the wrong thing.
Right. All right. So when looking at this, we see that the first picture unit talks about our work. We work hard for our money, and then we get our income. And immediately when we get paid on payday or paydays, it goes to our bills, right? And then we look at our lifestyle. And sometimes then we don't have any savings, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
we'll put ourselves in a position where we're living beyond our income goals. And then now for me, this rat race was income, pay bills, and pay debt. I didn't do debt last, right? And
Yeah.
so, but hey, for a lot of people, they take care of their lifestyle, right? Because they feel like that they're working hard for their money, and they don't really understand the concept of having their money work hard for them. And so this is pretty much how it goes as well. Both of you and I are educators. We know education prepares, for the most part, students to work, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
we build these fears. We have the fear of not paying our bills, the fear of being fired, the fear of not having enough money, the fear of starting over, or the fear of losing money. So we get into this cycle where we get up, we wake up tomorrow, Monday morning. Um, is the most anxiety moment for a lot of Americans
Mm-hmm.
recorded on Monday morning. We go from fear and we go to work and we pay bills. and we recycle this process over and over again.
And you know what, LaTanya, what people don't realize is that with this cycle, and I want people to really understand how important it is to get this concept. Most people in America are one paycheck away from being homeless. Like we see the homeless people on the side of the road, and we look at them, and most people one paycheck away from being right beside that person saying, "Me too." Like I'm next. And so when people don't understand that, they don't understand the situation they put their families in to only live from paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
And so what a school it's a big difference between being getting an education and being schooled. Big difference. Being schooled is that you're told, go get a good job, go to college, only look for a good job. And that's being schooled because you don't understand how capitalism works. Look, and we're not here to beat up on jobs at all. Me and LaTanya are both educators. We love what we do. But you have to understand that in America, how the money game is set up, how the rules are set up, is to benefit people who have a business, either have as a real estate investor, but those are two different things. But it's set up for those two types of people, business or investors. And so once you understand that, you can understand the difference between being schooled and begin an education.
Right. Right. And so, we know, like you said, schools focus mostly on scholastic, professional skills, but the financial skills, which are very important, and oftentimes is not taught in school. The most we know is checking and balance. When you have a checking account and you have a budget, and this is how much money you have to live out your budget. And this is, let's say your rent is this much. And so we give our students the scenario, but we really don't go into the strategies and things that we teach, and we help people as far as their financial success. So I'm not going to go over all of these, but we will talk about the mentality, right, of the middle class and the rich. And so, Kevin, do you want to expound on anything that stands out to you on the mentality of the middle class of this on this slide?
Most people know this about me, but I'm actually, I'm a preacher's kid, and growing up in the church, I used to always hear people say this, money is the root of all evil, and things like that. But my understanding now is the lack of money is the root of all evil. Right. I never see people with money robbing people on the side of the corner, standing them up with a gun, threatening their family, threatening their life. I don't see people doing that. And so what I had to understand is I had to go read the scripture, right? And it said, for the love of money, the love of it, but the like you said before, the lack of it is actually raw even. So I really want people to understand that we're not saying we're teaching you those concepts I grew up with in church. We're trying to teach you how things work in this society, and that's just plain and simple. And that's all I got to tell you.
Okay, and like the third point is what I want to bring out. People study hard is the mentality or outlook. So you can find a good company to work for, but the rich, right, teach their kids, or even the Jewish community teach their kids to study hard, so you can find a good company to buy, or a good company to be a part of, or to be an entity of, and that's where we get the corporation concepts from, right? And then the rich have money to work for them. At the bottom, you can see the difference of the source of income for the middle class is their job or something they specialize in, like a lawyer or a doctor. But the rich mentality is their source of income is asset. And so these financial education lessons, we're going to define in the next slide the difference between financial literacy and the difference between financial education. But point number 3, mind your own business, meaning be an employee in an entity, right? And number 4 is probably something you want to expound on just a little bit, the history of taxes and the power of corporations.
And I really want people to understand that tax, we're not teaching you to evade paying taxes. We're teaching you about tax protection and things that this country was founded on. Look, the IRS is an entity where it collects taxes. That's what it does. But you have to understand the IRS even tells us that you may be better off getting your money during the year, paying off your debt, make sure your debt paid off, and then taking that money and investing it, because the IRS is not a savings account. And so because people don't understand that simple concept of how the tax system is set up, that's why Donald Trump, recently Jay-Z was able to say, look, I'm gonna have a business, so I figured out how to pay as little taxes as possible.
Right.
Look, those are two polar opposites, but those two people are saying the same things. Understand how the tax system is set up.
Right, right. And so then we look at the difference between financial literacy and financial education. Robert Kiyosaki first came out with this concept when I first read his book, and it was an eye opener for me financially. He's talking about the difference between assets and liabilities, and a lot of homeowners refer to their homes as an asset, right? But Robert Kiyosaki said it's actually a liability. His very plain financial literacy definition of that is liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. An asset is anything that put money into your pocket. And then his financial literacy consists of investing for cash flow versus capital gains, and meaning that he teaches, for example, if you're going to invest in real estate, take that property, right, instead of flipping it and selling it for capital gains. Now take it and hold it and have residual income through the month of rent payments coming in every monthly on a monthly basis. So invest for cash flow. So I'm going to allow you to elaborate on this one, using debt and taxes to get richer.
Yeah, the using debt and taxes to get richer is you understanding how tax protection works. You're able to minimize or eliminate, you paying taxes based on you balancing it out with a business or real estate. And so by doing that, you're taking the money that you would have been paying into the IRS and letting it sit there, and you're taking that money and providing what's called positive cash flow. And so once you provide that positive cash flow, what you also do as well is you start putting that positive cash flow in the assets, and then those assets produce more cash. And so this is a simple cash flow concept everyone has to understand. And I say this all the time: cash, asset, cash. Take a little bit of cash, put it into an asset, and let that asset pay you more cash. And if you do that over and over again, you'll start to produce what's called wealth.
Right, right. And then the next one, we talk about financial education. It's the difference between financial literacy and financial education, in which we teach people how to eventually have their money work for them. And I'm not going to go over all of these points on this slide, but I do want to read the first two. As an employee who is also a homeowner, your working efforts generally as follows. You work for someone else. Most people working for a paycheck are making the owner or the shareholders richer, and your efforts and success will help provide for the owner's success and retirement, right? Or you're working for the government, and the government takes its shares from your paycheck before you even see it. By working harder, you simply increase the amount of taxes taken by the government. Most people work from January to May just for the government, and then you work for the bank. After taxes, your next largest expense is usually your mortgage and your credit card debt. So I want you, the cash flow king, to talk about number two.
Number two is how you work for the government for the first third of the year. And what that pretty much means is, if you think about this, when you get your paycheck, the government gets paid when? First. So
Right.
they get that money first. So you literally give them a third of your paycheck every single time you get paid. So imagine this: from January to March or April, you're working for the government. Because a third of your paycheck is a third of the year. So then after you get finished with that, the next third of your paycheck, because as soon as you get paid, who do you have to pay next? Your bills and your debt.
Right.
So the next third of that paycheck is going to the mortgage companies. It's going to the car notes. It's going to the credit cards. It's going to the student loans. That's taking the next chunk of your check. So they get paid next.
Right.
So you don't get paid to the last third of the year, and you get paid dead last because that's how you get paid in your paycheck. And most times, here's the thing, LaTanya, because people, after they pay their debt, then they fall into their consumer mindset. So they go spend money, spend money, and they never pay themselves. They just keep the cycle going. They get just enough energy to keep the cycle going, to float a paycheck, just so you can continue to keep going. You know, paying the government first, debt second, you last.
Right.
And it just keeps going over and over again.
Right. Right. And so this is the cash flow quadrant. 4 ways that money come your way. The first one is you work for someone else. The second cash flow quadrant is you work for yourself, which means you're a sole proprietor. You may be doing a side hustle. You're working out of your home, and you're not incorporated, right? And you're getting taxed as a sole proprietor. If you work for someone else, you're getting taxed from 28 to 35%. But as a sole proprietor, you're getting taxed even higher, from anywhere from I think 32% or higher. And then, but then this is the concept of the third part of the quadrant that we teach people, that helps them get more money in their paycheck, right? And also legally pay less taxes or paying the government, is when they go into business. Now, we recommend first going into the financial education business that we are in, because people don't only need to learn a financial education that we discussed earlier, but they also need to learn this shifting strategy, as well as the business tax deductions that they are entitled to. I know a lot of people that are independent consultants, or they're in other business, but they're still losing thousands and thousands of dollars because they don't know the business tax deductions that they have available to them. And they definitely don't know about the home-based business tax deduction. So I'll let you elaborate on that.
Yeah, and what's important to understand about that, LaTanya, is that and these are recent with the tax law changes. This just happened this year. People used to work from their home as an employee and qualify for similar tax deductions as a person who owns a business. Mm-hmm. That was around for a while. Now those are going away. An employee doesn't have as many tax deductions anymore. And I'm using the wrong word, but let's just call them tax deductions. The way that you qualify for over 500 tax deductions is by understanding how to and what the importance of having a home-based business or a business itself. So, but because people don't understand how powerful that strategy is, most times they give their money away because they think that either it's a scam or anything like that. But why would people who are wealthy stand up and say, I'm doing this? You can do it too. You just got to understand how to do it. And that's what's important.
Right. And so, eventually that's where we are, is we want to get to that fourth quadrant where we're making our money work for us, right?
Absolutely.
And we, in this passive income. But I do want to, it's like a 4 or 5 minute clip, Kevin, it's not long, about the cash flow quadrant. And so people can really see it visual, unless you just want to go to the next slide.
No, we can show it. We can show it. Okay. That'd be great.
Welcome to Robert Kiyosaki's The Business of the 21st Century. Robert Kiyosaki is recognized internationally as one of today's leading financial experts. The author of the best-selling Rich Dad, Poor Dad, his books have been translated into 51 languages in 109 countries and sold more than 28 million copies worldwide. Robert has spent his life educating people on how to attain financial freedom. Now, through this special video presentation, he explains why network marketing is indeed the business of the 21st century, and how you can take advantage of its opportunities to create the life you desire.
The next thing I want to cover with you is one of the most important lessons my rich dad gave me, and it was called the cash flow quadrant. And what my rich dad explained to me is that there's 4 people in business. One are E's, employees, S stands for small business, self-employed, or specialist. B stands for big business, and I stands for investor. And the thing of note here is that most people who go to school are programmed for the E and the S side. For example, it was my poor dad who always said to me, son, go to school so you can get a nice, safe, secure job. And so my poor dad wanted me to be an employee. And since the time I was a kid, get a safe, secure job, steady paycheck, and benefits. Okay? I didn't want to be an employee. And I said, Mom and Dad, I want to be a rich man. And I fight with my dad. So my mother finally said, son, if you want to be rich, my mother was a registered nurse. She said, if you want to be rich, the richest people I know are doctors. So my mom wanted me to come over here, be a specialist or a small business person. I said, there's only one problem with that, Mom. Doctors are really smart. And she says, you got a good point there. I'm not going to be a doctor. So I went to school. I have a Bachelor of Science degree. I can drive ships and I can fly planes. I flew for the Marine Corps. But I've never used any of that education because I wanted to become a business owner. So it was my rich dad who basically said to me, become a business owner and learn to be a professional investor. So one of the big differences here between these people is that it's called taxes. See, in 1943 in the U.S., the federal government passed a law that said employees had to pay tax before they got paid. So when you when you get your paycheck from your employer, you open it up, and voila, the government's always taken a sizable chunk of it. And the harder you work and the more money you make, the more money they take from you. So that's why it's not that good to be an employee, because you can never get ahead, because the more you work, more money you make, the greater they pay in taxes. Now the doctors, the lawyers, and attorneys, accountants were all laughing, saying, "Oh, these guys, they're getting paying a lot of taxes." So naturally, the federal government changed the laws again. So in 1986 in the U.S., a thing called the '86 Tax Reform Act, and it basically took a lot of the benefits away from people who are self-employed, small business, doctors, and lawyers. So today in America, unfortunately, these guys pay the highest percentage in taxes. It is tragic. And a lot of people think they're investors, but what they're really doing is they're just giving their money to people like mutual funds, companies, and all that. So they're investing, but they're not really investors. See, the big tax breaks are on this side. The laws are pretty tight here, but this area is very, very gray. So by being a business owner on the right-hand side of the quadrant, you can make a lot more money and pay a smaller percentage of taxes legally. And the key word is legally. In the investor quadrant, it is possible to make millions of dollars and pay 0% taxes legally. But you've got to know the difference. So one of the beauties of business for the 21st century is it allows people to make the transition from the E and the S side to the B side especially. And so you can become a big business owner. And the difference between an S and a B, small business and big business, is most of these guys can't quit working. Most small business owners, if they stop working for more than a month, the business collapses. They don't really have a business. Most of these people own a job. So the beauty of business for the 21st century, it allows these people to make the transition to the B side so that you don't have to keep working hard for money, and the money can actually come in passively. Then once you have your business up and running, then I always recommend you then begin investing with your excess cash, paying less and less in taxes. And that's the reason the rich are getting richer.
Okay, so that's his reason why the rich are getting richer. I'm not going to go over a lot of this in this diagram, but the one thing I do want you all to look at very closely is number one, own business where you don't have to be physically present. So, Kevin, do you want to expound on that?
Yeah, I do, because many people have to understand the concept of leverage. You have to be able to leverage time or money to free up more of your time and your money. And so that concept is you pretty much understand that once you understand how to leverage money and put it in things that's going to produce more money, which are assets, you can free up your time, and then you can start to really, really start generating wealth, not just for yourself, but for generations to come. And so really understand how leverage works as it relates to business.
Right, right. And so this is the opportunity. People don't, they really look at us and say, hey, why is this a $27.95 opportunity? Well, we're not asking you all to go out and create your own business. Now, there are some people who have their own businesses, um, and that's fine, but they plug into this businesses. And the reason why they plug into this business is because we now shift their income from their expenses, right, going into taxes first, luxury next, then their living expenses, and now the basic source of income. This is what job owners do. They pay their taxes first, their luxury and living expenses. But once you tap into this home-based business model, then we allow you to be taxed less first, right? And then have your salary and running expenses coming in. And so this is what we call combining employment with being an entity, right? Even if you have your own business, even if you have a brick and mortar business, you still need to be able to know the benefits of having a home-based business, like being able to write off a certain percentage of your utilities, things that you're paying for anyway. Your square footage of your home. We talked about your home being a liability according to Robert Kiyosaki and not an asset. But now you can make your home an asset, right? You can make your home or your apartment or wherever your living places are an asset to you, and you can find tax money and tax ways now to put more money into your pocket. And so, Kevin, you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, by doing that, you're able to qualify yourself for those tax deductions that business owners have access to, and that money is essentially freed up, so you can start to put that money into assets that generate
Mm-hmm.
more money. And
Mm-hmm.
so, being that business owner is very important also from a tax standpoint, because you qualify for all of those deductions that you get as a business corporation. You qualify for all of them, and that's the most important part.
Right, right. And so, and it, like we said, an individual with the knowledge of tax advantages and their provider corporation can get rich much faster than someone who is an employee. So, the people that work for corporations are uh, who work for a corporation. This is their spending cycle. They earn, they pay taxes, and they spend, right? But what we want to do is teach people how to shift their income and where we're making them in a position to earn their money and then spend secondly and pay taxes third. So Kevin, is anything, so like you say, employees earn and get taxed, and then after that they tax on what's left. And it one of the biggest, and you've already expounded on this about Donald Trump. He didn't say he didn't pay taxes, which he paid very little taxes, but he said he'd be smart if he didn't. Um, and so they get taxed on what's left. So it's one of the biggest tax loopholes that the rich people use, right? Even your meals, when you're intending to do business, is a tax deduction or tax write off. So the last thing we'll talk about, and I'll give you the opportunity to close, Kevin, is why adjusting your W-4 is better than getting a second job.
It's better to get a second job because in the eyes of the IRS, when you have two jobs, you like two people. And
Hmm.
so both of those jobs are essentially adding more income to one person. And many times a second job puts you in a higher tax bracket. So because it puts you in a higher tax bracket, are you really saving money? Are you really being able to to put money back into your house that like you would think you were by getting a second job? It's an illusion. And
Hmm.
so what you want to understand is that many times when people properly fill out a W-4 form and properly start a business alongside of that, they're able to get between $200 to six to $700 back in their paycheck each and every pay period or each and every month. And so
Wow.
because those two things happen and you put that money back in your paycheck, you don't need a second job.
Right.
You have the money. And so not only do you have that money, but if you talk to any financial advisor or anyone who does bankruptcies, the person only needed most times in bank when people file for bankruptcy, they
Hmm.
only need an additional $300 more to not
Hmm.
have to file for bankruptcy every month. And
Right.
so that second job, sometimes people it's an illusion, but if you just adjust the W-4 and get it filled out correctly, you can put that money back in your paycheck and know you won't owe the government at the end of the year if you had a business alongside it, because you're going to balance out your tax deductions with it. So.
Right, and I think most people are like, well, I don't want to owe, or I don't want to be paying back, but I do have a short video clip, and I know your time is valuable. It's just going to be Brian Bean. And so, I'll let you wrap it up, and I'm going to show this video for the people that are logged in, and then I'll close it out.
Okay.
So, just show you. Well, went to the wrong slide. Now you got to talk me through, Kevin, how to escape out of this and go back. Or I hit the wrong button. Okay. So, you know more about this than I do. I'm trying to learn this technological stuff back.
It's fine.
It's fine. Am I going back or forward? Oh, I'm going way. Okay.
Greetings, everyone. It's Brian Bean, creator of PAGE, which, as you know by now, stands for People, Activity, and Yourself. I'm also founder of the Extra Digit Movement, where we teach you personal and economic empowerment. We're back again with yet another video, and this is one of my favorites. Just so we're clear, you've seen income shifting, the art of going from the highest tax bracket in the world, a W-2, to the lowest tax bracket, which is investing, also known as asset accumulation. You've seen the importance of eliminating all of your high interest and getting out of debt, because debt robs you of your wealth. You've also seen the power of owning a home-based business, which by and large can be your number one asset. We even let you in on some secrets, i.e. the banker's secret. Make sure you guys check that out. But today we're going to talk to you guys about something very important, known as the adjustment versus the refund. I want to give you guys an introduction to a form from the IRS website, irs.gov. I'm holding in my hand this document to show you why this is even a debate, adjustment versus refund. So let's look at what the IRS says regarding your tax refund that everybody in America, or 90% of us, seem to get excited about. I'm going to skip down here to the middle section. It says, where does your refund come from? It comes from your wallet or purse when you tell your employer how much to withhold from your paycheck, or you make an estimated tax payment. For the average refund, that's about $40 a week too much. Now, as you guys know, I do a lot of math, but I have my degree in English. And the reason I have these blanks is because I'm not very smart. I just know how to fill in the answers. Re in the English language means again. And I know for a fact that fund means money. So your refund is really your money again. The government is admitting that most Americans pay about $40 a week too much, hence a tax refund. I submit to you that if you got your money up front, you could put that money to work and get out of financial trouble throughout the year, as opposed to waiting until next year to get your what? Tax refund. Let me give you one more thing here. It says you might be using the extra withholding as a forced savings method, but Uncle Sam does not pay interest on refunds. In other words, the government borrowed your money throughout the year. Uncle Sam then went and invested your money, gave you a percentage of it back, and gave you no interest on top, even though they made money with your money. Here's the advice from the federal government. Putting the money in any type of savings account or paying down debts may be a better option. So I'm just simply saying to you, I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I'm not giving you investment advice or any recommendations. I'm not allowed to do that. What I'm telling you is the IRS website stated many, many years ago that you're overpaying, you're getting a refund, and you probably may want to put that money to work during the year or save it. So what I want to do is grab my pen, as usual, or my marker, and put some numbers to exactly what the IRS website told you to do. So again, follow me from left to right, and we're going to let math be the answer. Not your opinion, not emotion, not how we feel. Always let math be your teacher. So this is very, very simple. we're going to say you took the advice of the federal government. Not my advice. You took the advice of the IRS.gov website. You went and you revisited your W-4. Now, before I write this down, let's be sure this is clear. If you take the advice of the previous videos and you open a home-based business, you have to understand there are hundreds of deductions that a home-based business owner receives on the back of the W-4 that a person without a home-based business does not receive because they don't get the same perks and benefits. So let's assume you took that advice. You now have several tax deductions because you were able to increase your allowances being a home-based business owner. You went and you adjusted your W-4 and you picked up, I don't care if it's you personally or you and your significant other, picked up an extra $500 a month. Now, let's say you picked up $500 a month and you did that for 15 years. Most of us are adults watching this video, although I don't mind you teaching this to your children. Most of us have been in the work world for at least 15 years. Now, you're starting to get your money up front as opposed to waiting for a tax refund. Do you guys know at 8% interest, people say, Brian, where in the world are you getting 8% interest? We show you how to invest wholesale, not retail. That's another video. But let's assume for the sake of the math, you're getting 8% interest on wholesale investments. Do you guys know this is $173,000 that you've earned by getting your money up front? Now, let's get serious. Let's say we take the same individual, whether you're single or married, you adjust your W-4 and you earn the same thing, $500 a month. Now, we're going to take that $500 a month this time, and we're going to go 30 years instead of 15. Now, as you know, with compound interest, the answer doesn't just double. At 30%, the answer is now $745,000 that you've generated because you decided what? To get your money up front. Lower your taxes legally, ethically, and morally by opening a home-based business and revisiting your W-4. This is very, very profound. There's a young lady that I introduced to the extra digit movement who revisited her W-4. She still had single with no children on her W-4. She's been an educator for 19 years and she's been married with 2 children for about 15. Now, what does that mean? It means she lost about $90,000 because she did not revisit her W-4 and adjust it. Now, here's the key, and you'll learn this as you join our movement, watch these videos, and get educated. It's not the $90,000 that she's upset about. It's the lost opportunity cost of what the $90,000 could have generated had she adjusted her W-4 15 years prior. So let's look at what most people are doing. Most people keep the $500 a month and just keep the W-4 the same, and that equates to about $6,000 a year. Well, the problem with the $6,000 a year is now this is taxed, and the refund will equate to about a $4,000 check. Now, when you get a tax refund and bring it to about $40,000 and multiply it by 15 years, you only end up with $60,000 as opposed to $173,000. See, this is very important. Even your tax refund is taxed because guess what? Anything you make in America is taxed. It's just a matter of how much. So $6,000 becomes $4,000 at no interest at all because they take the money out up front, multiply by 15 years, and you just sold. You are now short $113,000 when you could have had $173,000. So in summary, $6,000 at 15 years is $180,000. That's for those of you who don't believe the tax refund is taxed. I'm giving you the entire $6,000 times the exact same amount, 15 years. This is how much you actually had in income. We're going to give you the truth, which is the $4,000 because the $6,000 is in fact taxed, for those of you who understand the tax refund. We're going to multiply that by 15 years, and this is $120,000. So either way, 180,000, 120,000 does not trump the adjustment of the W-4. The six.
Okay, so let me log out here, and I'm going to show you all how to implement these strategies, and how to, let me go to here, how to implement these strategies that we're teaching or that we have been teaching. So this is the website, moneymindsetmoves.com. Let me make sure that I'm sharing. Let me share. Yeah, okay. So you'll see like this 7-minute.
Congratulations on your decision to get started with the fastest growing team here in my econ. Now, if you look below this video, you'll see we have 2 steps. Your first step is to create your My Econ account below this video by clicking the step number 1 button and registering as a marketing director, so you can not only become a customer, but become a marketing director to resell their service. And you must do so for 2 reasons. The first reason is so you can benefit from the membership yourself, the same way I do, and the same way all of the other people on our team do that you met here today. After all, we only get paid with My Econ when we refer paying retail customers. So we ask that you become a customer yourself so you can feel good about referring others to this service as well. Because let's be honest, you can't expect others to buy what you yourself didn't pay for. Am I right?
Okay,
so when you click the button below this video under step number 1, you will only pay $34.95 per month. And the second reason you want to go with this option is because only paid customers on our team.
Okay, so it's no longer, it's a special. And then I'm going to show you all in the back office or the website exactly what it looks like. So it's not $34 at this time. It's actually $27. It's a holiday special. $27.95, right? So $27.95, and this is what you get. Once you go to their website, you create, select Create Now. It gives you the tax record keeping. It shows you how to correct your W-4, the correct tax withholding. This is where many people find the $200 to $600 a month out of their paycheck that they didn't know they have. It teaches you the correct W-4 tax withholding. We talk you through that. We teach you, Kevin and I will teach you as well, hands-on services. And what a lot of you turn this into your W-4, right? I mean, to your human resources department. From your W, a lot of people will say, well, my manager told me that, you know, I can't give them this W-4 to adjust my W-4 or my supervisor. You should ask them, okay, how do I submit this to human resources, to my HR department? So in doing so, let me log out. Once you do this, then you also will learn your tax record keeping, right? You learn your tax record keeping. And so you can download it. It's an app on your mobile phone, and it teaches you how to enter your mileage, how to view and edit your expenses, how to create your income. Now that you're an employee and you join this business, you get the entity and you get the tax deductions in the thousands or hundreds of dollars of your business write-off that comes along with it, right? And so you can do it right from the ease of your cell phone or your PC, whichever one that you prefer. And so we also have this financial education component that teaches your tax record keeping after you adjust your W-4. Now you have your debt elimination system or your debt elimination tool. You go into this, you enter in all your debts in this system, include your interest rates, your minimum payment. And now that you have the extra cash flow, you can apply this cash flow toward your debt elimination, right? So you put this in there by the month. It's a system that applies the cash to one debt at a time. And when that debt is eliminated, the extra cash flow and payments is eliminated, and then it goes on to the next debt, right? So you plug into this, and we know without a vision, without a plan, people perish. And a lot of times there's two reasons why people don't pay out their debts or bad debts, because I do believe in using other people's money to invest in assets. But a lot of times, most of Americans are consumers, and they use their credit to invest in liabilities, things that lose value. And so you need a plan to pay down that money, but you also need to find the extra money without working a second job. And this is the one I love as well, that comes with this for $27.95. You have a smart credit system, right? And it teaches, and I love this for my teenagers and my young adults, but it teaches you how to build a healthy credit. It has 9 different modules in it. A lot of pastors get this into their churches to educate their people. Now that you have extra cash flow, now we teach you a credit, online credit smart system as well. So we call this the 750 credit plan, right? I'm the queen of credit. I dispute credit, but there are some people that they just want to know how to read their credit report, how to attain their credit report, how to dispute items. Some people want to do it themselves. They want an online system, how to remove negative payment history, how to reduce your credit utilization, how to add good positive credit history, right? And how to properly apply for new credit, right? How to get a good credit mixture. And then we take you on to income shifting strategies, which shows you how to lower your credit utilization when you pay off those bills. Now, in module 5 of how to remove negative payment history, it also will give you, and I love this, really 609 dispute letters and affidavits, right? Not templates that you put your name on it, but actual affidavit examples. Once you join for $27.95, that you can use to dispute for yourself. If you don't get results, if you're part of my team and a part of being with Kevin as well, is that now you can ask me if it's some more difficult things to get out or you're not seeing the result. But this is a great, great place to start for the people who want to do it themselves. And again, it is not a template where you sign your name. These are actual affidavit that's provided, and it's all for $27.95. Last thing, if I can get out of this system, is it offers you business income, or in other words, a referral fee. At this time, it's $27 if you get someone to sign up under your link or share this information with you. I'll help you build your team, build your people, give you the things you need to teach them. We do conferences that will help you, Kevin and I, and we'll do a conference if you have, a certain amount of people, anywhere from maybe 10 to 15 people or more, well, at least 15 or more, that you would like to sign up to help you build, where you can start making business income as well. So power up your paycheck, get more money from your hard-earned dollars, right? Learn these income shifting strategies. If I wanted someone to join, I wish I don't see the join now, but it's only $27 for a limited time and 95 cents. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Facebook. I'm signing off. And this is how to build, and this is how you become an entity. Once you join this, you get all the business tax deductions that you're allocated that you don't get as a sole proprietor or an employee. That's going to save you hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars. I'm signing off. Have a great day. Make sure you hit like and share. It's Coach DeLoach.